Welcome to a deep dive with you. We're looking at something, well, pretty much everyone runs into, hitting setbacks when you're aiming for a goal and then feeling that motivation just vanish.
Oh, yeah, it's so common.
Yeah.
You start off strong, things are going well, and then maybe a slip up, maybe just life happens, and that little voice starts up, doesn't it? See, you've already messed this up.
Exactly. And that thought, it often slides right into, well, if I've screwed up now, why bother? Maybe even start calling yourself a failure.
Uh-huh.
Our source for this, an article by Lark Erickson, who's a relationship and confidence coach, actually calls this the shame spiral.
That's a really vivid term for it, that whole losing steam and, questioning if you can even do it.
Totally. So our goal today is to dive into what Erickson says about this. We're going to explore three specific ways we tend to self-sabotage when things get tough.
And, crucially, the simple ways the article suggests we can break out of those cycles, keep ourselves moving.
Right. Let's get into it. So the first form of self-sabotage identified is what the article calls the perfection trap.
Ah, yes. The need for everything to be absolutely perfect before you, finish anything or even show it to anyone.
That's the one. And the article has an interesting take on why this happens. It says it's kind of a protection thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're constantly chasing perfection, you can always point to how hard you're trying. It feels like it shields you from judgment because, hey, look at all this effort.
But what's the actual result of that protection?
Well, the outcome, as the source points out, is often that you just never finish. You get bogged down in making this bit perfect and that bit perfect.
While other people.
Right, while others, doing what you might think is just good enough work, are actually completing things. They're launching, they're getting feedback, they're moving forward, and you're still stuck.
Okay, so if the trap is demanding 100% perfection, what's the way out? What's the remedy?
Erickson suggests breaking the goal down, like into really small pieces. Then pick just one tiny piece, and okay, fine, focus your perfectionism there if you really feel you have to.
Just on one small bit.
Yeah, and then pick another small chunk, something you could do like right now, easily, maybe just a few minutes work.
And the rest of it. The bigger picture.
For everything else, the advice is aim for maybe 75% perfect. Just get it done. Move on.
75%. That feels more doable.
And there's a mantra for this. My good enough is great.
My good enough is great. That really challenges that perfectionist voice. Okay, so that tackles the fear of judgment by sort of lowering the bar to actually finish.
Right.
But what if the fear isn't really about what others think, but more this deep down feeling that you're just going to fail anyway? That leads to the second point, right? The self-fulfilling prophecy of failure.
Exactly. This is that awful cycle where you basically assume you're going to fail, so you kind of give up preemptively, or maybe you make one little mistake.
And use that mistake as proof.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You use it as the excuse to quit, thereby proving your initial belief that you were going to fail all along. It's a loop.
Ugh, that sounds really hard to break. It's all internal. So how does the article say you interrupt that?
The key remedy offered here is forgiveness. Specifically, forgiving yourself immediately for any kind of setback, distraction, mistake, whatever it is.
Immediately. Wow, that sounds simple, but hard. Especially when you're feeling low.
It is hard, but that's why the next step is crucial. Remember why.
Yeah.
Why did this goal matter to you in the first place?
Ah, okay.
That original reason, the passion or the need behind it, that hasn't changed just because you had a hiccup. It's still valid.
Connect back to the why.
And also, the article adds, remind yourself that you are actually worthy of achieving this goal.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
You are worthy of the goal. Okay. So forgive immediately, remember the why, believe you're worthy.
And then just keep going, keep moving forward. The mantra for this one is really direct. I will only fail if I quit.
That really puts it starkly. Failure isn't the slip up, failure is stopping.
Okay. Yeah.
So the third way we self-sabotage, according to Erickson, is kind of surprising. Rewarding yourself out of progress.
Right. It sounds weird. This is when you're actually making good progress, you feel good about it, and you think, hey, I deserve a treat.
Which seems fine, like positive reinforcement. What's the problem?
The problem, according to the article, comes when those treats are spontaneous and maybe too big or too frequent, and they actually stop you from doing the work.
So the treat disrupts the actual progress.
Exactly. You use the progress you made as an excuse to step away from the process itself. Like, you stick to your diet all week, feel great, then think, time for a massive cheat meal that lasts all weekend. The reward derails the momentum.
You reward yourself so much you stop doing the thing that earned the reward. Okay, I see it now. What's the fix then?
Schedule the treats.
Mm.
Decide ahead of time. Maybe it's a specific time each day or a particular reward once a week, but plan it. Commit to only stepping off track, so to speak, during those planned times.
Make the reward part of the structure, not a random interruption.
Exactly. Or the article also suggests maybe get an accountability buddy, someone to check in with.
Makes sense. And the mantra for this one?
Achieving my goal is my reward.
Hmm. Shifting the focus there.
Yeah, it reframes the whole idea of treats. So wrapping these ideas together, the source really stresses that using these techniques gets easier the more you practice them. And maybe the biggest takeaway is about being kind to yourself through it all.
Absolutely. Gentle, loving, forgiving, those words came up a lot. It's not about executing these perfectly either, right? It's about the effort.
Totally. Even tiny bits of progress, like just catching yourself starting to spiral and choosing to forgive instead, that counts. It all adds up.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, based on this. If achieving your goal really is the ultimate reward, like that last mantra says,
How might changing how you think about those smaller, everyday treats actually shift your whole approach? It's something to chew on. And remember, just by listening and thinking about this, you're already trying. You're doing a good job.